welcome to Body Language in Communication. Body language plays very important role in any sort of communication. Hence, we are having a separate session on body language, that is non-verbal language. What do you mean by body language? What comes to your mind when we think of body language? Is it the way we send non-verbal signals? Is it the way we present ourselves? Is it about indicating certain emotions without talking to each other? Well, there are many definitions, and everybody has their own perspective to understand this. We can define it as the medium through which people and animals communicate, perhaps using different gestures, expressions, and posture. So, to explain this in detail, the definition of body language can be explained as the gestures, posture, and facial expressions that communicate our attitudes and our thoughts. Well, let's first get it clear. The pronunciation is always gestures and not gestures. Many people have the tendency to pronounce gestures as gestures. So let's just get that first right. It is going to be gestures. Gestures are basically the movements of our hands or arms. While communicating, we have a tendency to use a lot of gestures, the movements of our hands, and gestures are also used when we are not communicating with words. Well, posture means the position of our whole body, or else when we sit, the way we stand, the way we move, that is called as posture. Facial expressions are basically the way we use our different facial elements to express any kind of certain emotions to communicate. So, all these factors contribute for our nonverbal communication, and it eventually shows our approach, our thinking towards something. Well, we can always say that body language is the strongest signal that we emit at all times without even realizing it most of the times. Whether it is through eye contact or the hand gestures that we just discussed, whether it is through our facial expression or also the distance that we keep from the audience when we are communicating with others. Body language is one of the key soft skills we can say, that reflects our personality. Body language is a critical soft skill actually that everyone needs to be very conscious about so that you can advance in your career if you can be little more aware of the importance of this particular element. The world's best business communicators have strong body language, a commanding presence that reflects their confidence, competence, and their charisma. Even before entering the professional arena, one is judged, in addition to his hard skills, through many soft skills, the crucial one being the body language. Well, to illustrate this rightly, the job interview can be an example. From the moment the candidate enters the interview room, he is under the scanner, literally. His eye contact, his mannerism, etc. are all being examined. It is being assessed by the interview team. Let us, you're all set for your big interview, the one that you are confident will change your career. You've been preparing for it since a very long time. You know you can wow the person across the desk with your accomplishment, with whatever achievements that you have done so far. You have the qualification required, you have all the experience that has been professionally required, and you're ready to give the presentation that reflects months of hard work and success. You're basically ready to represent yourself. But before you even begin to speak, the rest of your body language has already spoken volumes. Now discuss the very famous example which can actually explain the importance of body language, the influence of body language, why body language is so much important in any kind of communication. Well, we most of us are aware of this painting. We all have seen this painting. It is a very famous painting. Mona Lisa. Yes, Mona Lisa is popularly known in Europe for this particular painting. There is no better example of body language and its many interpretations of her personality around the world than the enigmatic smile of this classic creation of the famous artist Leonardo da Vinci. Her smile speaks a thousand of words. It indicates her mental disposition. It expresses her inner self. And it also indicates, but does not quite reveal. Well, to interpret her fine emotions, to understand them, we need to look not just at her smile, but also at her eyes and her facial bones and muscles. Her smile is like totally perplexing and mysterious. Different people have different perception, their own perspective, and their own theories that they've come up with, as interpretation of this particular painting, and it is quite famous, and it is quite, you know, given as an example of interpretation of this particular painting. Is she happy or is she sad? Is she in a contemplative mood or on the verge of revealing an expression? And the magical part of this painting is that the viewer of the picture can spend hours and days interpreting her and getting deeply involved in the painting, in the creation of this magnificent art, as if he is the creator of that particular art. And possibly the most differentiating aspect of Mona Lisa, she actually involves the viewer in an unparalleled manner. It takes you, actually, it makes you travel into a whole different world, and that's the beauty of this creation. Watching her, we seem to feel her presence around us. Her emotions appear to reflect our connection with her. Isn't that fantastic? Well, that's about the art of this particular painting. The signals sent by Mona Lisa's expression are indicative of the powerful signals sent out through every person's body language. They bring out the key message, and the key message is out here. We communicate the most when we are not speaking. Isn't it true? It is. All these non-verbal communications are actually very crucial. Movement, language, and vocal delivery are actually very crucial factors. Well, to be an effective communicator, it is very important that you read the signals rightly. It is very important that you understand what the person is trying to say without using the verbal language, because we communicate very effectively without opening our mouth. If you pay quite attention to these non-verbal signals, you can actually master very crisp communication in your life, may it be personal or professional.